Of course, he would not have let that vicious, jealous bitch Bara kill her after all she'd suffered. And the gods healed. Well, yes, that was true too, but now, here, you are almost as stubborn as I was, lad. Arvid felt a gentle hand on his bruised head, and then the sting of something cold on his bare shoulder. One, and then another, and another. The fire hissed. The men swore and stood. Their weapons, some of them his, clanking. "What about them?" one said. "Let 'em drown or freeze," said another. "Take the meat inside." Arvid heard the door of the hut, hardly more than a shed, creak open and then slam shut. Cold rain, the winter rain of Arenis, pelted down on him, harder every moment. He shivered. His teeth chattered. Cold water ran into his face, melting away the blood that had glued his eyelids shut in the last beating. Under his nose he saw a stretch of dark earth, speckled with pebbles glistening in the rain. Wet leather stretched. Arvid remembered that, even as his hands twisted, but it had to be really wet, and he was chilling faster than the leather softened. He struggled on. Hair by hair, the leather thongs stretched. Enough? It had to be enough. You could have sent a paladin, he thought into the dark sky. She has her task, you have yours. It did not seem the right moment to tell that sort of voice that he was not in service to that sort of voice. It was the right moment to escape, if he could. He worked one stiff hand loose, then the other. He could scarcely move his fingers and fumbled at the thongs tying his knees, his ankles. All the time the rain pelted down, hard, cold drops, some of them ice pellets now, it felt like. He needed a knife, a sharp... His hand knocked against something, a loose rock, and he saw the glassy scalloped edge of broken flint, as if outlined by the sun. He wanted to say, "You could have sent a knife." But what if the rock disappeared? By repute, the gods were big on gratitude. He clutched the flint awkwardly, sawed at the thongs, pulling and sawing together, and finally his knees were free, and then his ankles. He tried to stand, but the blows he'd taken, the hunger of 2 days trussed and gagged in a wagon, prevented it. He crawled instead, the flint in his mouth, bruised hands splayed out on the cold mud, bruised knees gouged afresh by the stones, until he reached Datter, who was himself struggling with his bonds, but unsuccessfully. They had bound the gnome upright to a tree, using a length of rope, and rope did not stretch in the wet, but shrank. Arvid sawed away at the rope, one strand, then another parted. The gnome finally got free and pulled the gag from his mouth. "Master!" "Shh!" Arvid was shuddering with cold. "Give rock!" The gnome reached for his hand and pried the flint out of it. Arvid collapsed against the tree trunk. Leafless though it was, it broke the wind and some of the rain. The gnome hopped off the boards the men had placed to keep him from touching the rocky ground. Arvid had a moment to think, rock magery, and then the gnome touched the flint to one of the exposed rocks between the tree roots. The rock opened, silently as a mouth, and the gnome and Arvid slid into the gap, out of wind and rain alike. Still cold, still wet, still shivering, but alive, for which he should, he knew, be thanking the gods. Yes. He muttered a shaky, "Thank you," in a voice he scarcely recognized as his own, and scrubbed at his arms and body, trying to warm them. Datter, he realized, had moved to one side of the hole they were in and had begun chanting at the rock. Arvid wanted to ask what he was doing, but as a dim blue-gray light spread from the gnome and his working, he could see for himself. The rock opened, without sound or mess. The light brightened as if rock were transmuted into light. Did the light